We are back in the Stone Creek Kitchen with Dr. Beckerman, a cardiologist who wrote the book, The Flex Diet, and he's here teaching us how busy families can actually eat healthy without spending a lot of time cooking, but we're still achieving all the health benefits.
That's right.
So we learned how to make a really good breakfast on the go.
Easy.
Easy, some berries, some Greek yogurt, and add some natural oats on top.
That's right.
I can do that.
Yes, and you can do this too.
Okay, so let's talk a little bit about what this recipe is and how it incorporates into the philosophies that you have in the Flex Diet.
Sure. So continuing the idea of being heart healthy. Years ago, some people do their research during medical school in a laboratory. I went to Costa Rica and did research on diet and health down there. And one of the things I learned about is a recipe called Gallo Pinto, which is something that people in Costa Rica eat sometimes for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Gallo Pinto.
Okay.
It means speckled hen.
Okay.
But you'll see that there's no hen involved here. This is a totally vegetarian recipe.
Okay.
And so what we're going to do is we have some garlic, which is great for your heart, some onions and some peppers.
I don't think I knew that garlic was good for your heart.
It is, it is. And so what we're going to do is we're just going to cut these things up, and super easy to do. And the idea here, once again, is that we're talking about eating real foods. You know, you can tell that none of this is packaged or pre-processed. It's just easy stuff that you can buy. And so once you chop all these things up, we're going to get started with a healthy oil. Because when you're talking about heart health, you want to be thinking about something called unsaturated fats, which are good for your heart. And the reason why they're good for your heart is because olive oil, it helps to actually improve your HDL cholesterol, which is the good cholesterol, and can actually lower your bad cholesterol a little bit too.
Well, I have you here, the HDL and the LDL. The HDL is the good one.
Yes,
the
H
LDL
you want to be
is
high,
bad.
L you want to be low.
Okay, so what would be what are good numbers for HDL and LDL?
Well, I think it's important that people know their numbers, right? You want to know your blood pressure, you want to know your LDL and HDL, and ideally your LDL is going to be less than 100.
Okay, and LDL less than 100.
Yeah,
that's the bad one.
And that could be hard to achieve for some people. You really have to concentrate on a healthy lifestyle, eating right, exercising, sometimes medication if you need it. And HDL, the higher the better. We'd love to see you greater than 50 or greater than 60.
Do you know your numbers?
I do.
And I would imagine because you've been using your Flex Diet just in your normal...
Yeah, my HDL is 68, and my LDL is actually undetectable because it's so low.
Okay, so
I think I'm also blessed with good lipid genes as well.
That's where the genes are a slight undertone, but still we talked about so much.
They can help, but I really want to emphasize the idea that people have a lot more control than they think they do.
Okay.
We often look to our relatives and think that they're responsible for a lot of our health issues.
Right.
But the reality is we're responsible for so much of it. And so that's why, see, we're just going to throw some of these peppers and onions in here.
I'm going to saute them a little bit? Or
exactly.
So at what point do we start to worry about this sort of diet? And I hate using the word diet even when we're talking about this sort of, in this context, because it just seems like a lifestyle rather than a diet.
It is.
But at what point do we start worrying about that for our kids? Because you mentioned you have young boys.
Yeah, I think you worry now.
Okay.
Because we know you hear this phrase obesity epidemic all the time.
Right.
And that
it's almost white noise anymore.
That's right. You hear it so much. There's actually a special last night on HBO called Weight of the Nation that's getting a lot of people talking. And I think that idea, realizing that kids, a third to a half of kids are obese or overweight, there's something that we have to start doing now, and part of it is being good role models as parents.
And then just kind of giving them what we eat.
That's right.
So in this Gallo Pinto.
So what we're going to do is, as we saute this for a few minutes, we're going to take some black beans, and you can just saute these yourself separately.
Okay.
And the great thing about beans is that Americans get so little fiber in their diets. The typical American gets about half the amount of fiber he or she should.
Is there a certain amount of grams that we should get a day?
Yeah, you want to look at around 25 grams a day.
And so we're only getting like
12 or something like that.
Okay.
And so
this would go in ultimately once these were a little bit further along.
That's right. 1 cup of beans actually gets you about half the amount of fiber you're supposed to get for the whole day.
Really?
Yep. And so what people in Costa Rica do is as they get their black beans here, mix it all up together. That's going to saute for a little bit of time. And then finally, you're just going to add a little bit of rice at the end. We chose brown rice today because it has some whole grains and it's more complex carbohydrates than white rice. And that's just going to mix for a while. The shell of the beans are going to break down a little bit. It's going to be a little bit mashed. And amazingly, this is an awesome breakfast.
Oh, I
And
like thinking out of the box like that.
Yeah, you wouldn't think about it, but getting protein as part of your breakfast is a great idea.
So the protein's coming from the lentils?
It's coming from the
beans?
beans, exactly. It helps keep you full and less likely to have those snacks mid-morning that often derail
What
people.
snacks?
That's
I don't know
right.
what snacks you're talking about
donuts.
at all.
So, you're at work, it's 10, 11 in the morning, you're starting to get hungry.
Did somebody talk to you?
That's right.
All
I've
right.
been in the green room. So.
Exactly.